Hopefulness 2.0, April 24th. The one on the left, this one, is the recipe that I saw for Adam's sort of like single pan, like 9-inch cake pan type thing. And that is the leftover discard. So what I'm going to try to do when time comes is, because this is effectively at minimum a 100% hydration dough, if you will, because that's how you work starter. It's like equal parts dough or flour and water. And I just checked. This one's a little on the liquidy side. Still smelling on the ripe end though, which is good. And it looks like it rose and then sunk back down overnight. So I've got these two. This is like how it should be, and I had it set overnight after I was done mixing it, just the way that he did it. And the hydration is approximately 100% as well. Because it's a little bit more, so it's a bit less then, because I measured out the amount of water that I had and weighed it, and it was about 230 grams. And the amount of flour that I ended up using was about 250 grams before, because the way that he describes it in the video, so you don't have to knead it and it autolyzes and it does its own self-kneading and all that. You just kind of dump in flour until it's harder to actually mix in more flour effectively. And I ended up mixing in about 250 grams worth. So I'm slightly under, I'm like 90% effectively, if that. And, roughly. Slightly over 90%. But in addition to that, for flavor purposes, he incorporated like 2 to 3 teaspoons or tablespoons of cornmeal and then like some whole wheat flour. Now, I used, as an alternative, because I don't have any cornmeal, I have whole wheat flour, but I also use bread flour because I don't have that much bread flour right now. And he was using bread flour for his pizza dough. Now, pizza dough bread flour has a higher protein content, and from my understanding, it will absorb more water too, at least I think. And so you could probably end up using less for the sake of hydration purposes. I think, because it can absorb more water, which means that you're going to end up with effectively a drier dough with bread dough. But since I didn't have any cornmeal, I just replaced, I just used bread dough, or bread flour, which I think is why my hydration percentages are so high in this case. Whereas if I had used bread dough, my hydration would be lower. I don't know. Because it seems like in his is almost like over 100%. So I don't know. Because he said he ended up with like 200 grams of flour. So I don't know. But I'm just trying to do the mental math at the moment. I can figure it out later. But I'm going to end up effectively doubling that by using the starter discard. Incorporated in there. That's already got yeast in it. I could possibly throw in a little bit more yeast if I felt like it. But yeah, so that's what I'm going to do in a little bit. I also have my bones, my chicken bones, ready for stock making. I'm going to roast them up on the tray. Oops. Holy crap. Oh, man. Rushed them up on the tray, and then throw in, onion, some carrots. Ooh. And I've got some drippings left over that I'll put in there too. That way it can kind of infuse with the chicken drippings that I have, plus I have the meatloaf drippings, so I can incorporate those and see how that works. I just have to dump a bunch of water onto it, just to make sure that I can skim off whatever top stuff, and then when that's all said and done, filter it out and have some stock. And then in about 3.5 hours, I'll have my phone call with my buddy regarding, interview prep and stuff. And then I've got to iron some shirts, some pants. I gotta at least look somewhat decent. I think, it's like, generally I wouldn't iron my pants, but I haven't been doing this kind of stuff in a while, and even if I was working on a regular basis, I still wouldn't iron my pants. But that's because, generally speaking, when they were done washing or whatever, I just pull them out and hang them up or whatever, usually. And, rarely do they don't get super wrinkly anyway, but I think at one point, one was just like crumpled up into a ball for weeks or something, I don't know. So I gotta at least check. And tomorrow is laundry day, so I don't know when I'll be able to start it. And I gotta do two loads. I might be able to pull off only one load, which would just be the linens. So I didn't do any laundry last week. And then maybe next week I decide to do both loads. I don't know. We'll see. But for the time being, I had to restart my starter. I dumped some of that today for the discard. And then add some more so I can continue startering. And then makes pizza stuff. Yeah. Had a weird dream last night. Sex dream. I seem to be the biggest tease of myself. Yeah, this is some TMI. So whatever. I'm gonna eat this banana. But while talking about a sex dream, because why the fuck not? Even when I was a kid, it was always similar. There was somebody that I was attracted to in the dream. At some point, we were fucking teasing each other, usually them teasing me. And then nothing happens in the dream. It's just a constant cock tease. The whole fucking dream. It's like, why did my brain do this to myself? Why has it been doing this so much of my life? I don't know. Dreams are stupid. Most of the time. Well, Dreams are stupid. And dream interpretation is even stupider. There's a little tidbit. Into my sex life, which is non-existent. And the whole thing was weird too. It was like, me and this one girl, we were living in the same building, but it was like we had our own rooms type thing. It's for the same house. So we're effectively roommates. But based on what I can remember, we didn't really know each other that well. But apparently there was some sort of sexual tension. I don't know. I don't even know who this person is. They're not real. Like, sometimes they would be real. They'd be like a girl I liked at school, or a teacher, or something, you know, somebody at work, whatever. But this person is just sort of like an amalgam. Interestingly enough, looks smoking hottie though, you know. And there's some dude who was like the head of the house or something like that, and see, this is the weird, I don't remember because it's a stupid ass dream. But at one point he was like playing around with like missiles and shit, trying to, you know, this is where it just goes off the walls bonkers. And while he's off doing his thing, she's like doing weird cock teasy shit. But it's almost, it's not like she's his wife or girlfriend or anything like that, but I don't know. And it doesn't seem like some sort of like slave situation. It's not like she's not, at least based on what I can recall, it's not like some sort of indentured servitude or anything. It's almost like it's her dad, but not her dad. I don't know. It's weird. The whole damn thing's fucking weird. There was no real established relationships, because I mean, it's a dream, you know, and dreams are fucking weird and fluid and ridiculous, and this is why dream interpretation is stupid, because like, you're trying to make sense of something that is nonsense. You know, we still, as a society, as, you know, throughout the scientific community, and like, still don't truly understand why we dream. So anybody who claims that they know why you dream is full of shit, because nobody really knows. And there are theories that it's kind of like taken out of the garbage. That it is a process of, because like, okay, think of your brain like a trash can. Going back to trash can food, like meatloaf, where you can just throw whatever. Well, a trash can is going to get full after a certain point, right? And if you don't take the trash out, it's just going to keep piling crap up, and it's just cause problems. Your brain is kind of like that when it comes to staying awake. And so if you don't sleep enough, because when we sleep, that's the time in which we take the trash out. And if we don't sleep enough, we don't toss out enough trash. That's where you get your sleep debts. Now, again, and this is not even, this is my understanding of the prevailing theory. This is not necessarily the prevailing theory. This is just my understanding of it. But if you do not sleep long enough, your dreaming, the processes, the dreams are the process of taking and sorting and getting rid of the trash. This is just an analogy, by the way. This isn't, this is nothing to do with what's actually going on in the brain, because we still don't know. A lot of sleep studies have, made conclusions akin to this, but there's still a lot of data that just hasn't been unpacked. This is why dream interpretation, by the way, is always so woo-woo, because there's nothing that explains in thorough detail what's really happening. But so you have trash, which is the accumulation of your hours throughout the day, information, etc. And it is understood, at least to a pretty base understanding anyway, that dreaming assists in sorting and clearing out whatever the trash may be, which is, and there are like chemicals, there's hormones and the like that can become overabundant in the brain when you haven't slept enough. If I'm not mistaken, I think cortisol is a stress hormone, and that can accumulate over time. And I think if you don't, and this is just me speculating because I can't recall exactly, but I believe that can accumulate if you don't sleep enough. And stress hormone, cortisol, has so many different functions. It's not just, because like, what is stress? Stress comes in so many forms. Stress can be bad, it can be good. You have eustress and you have distress. And it's the combination of factors that causes something that is positively stressful versus a combination of things that makes something negatively stressful. It's like I have been rather bombarded with a lot of negative stress in the last several months. I've had a couple of positive stresses. Not very many. But having too much stress, positive or negative, can actually be bad for you, especially if it accumulates inside you. And this is one of the reasons why, like, mindfulness meditation and various other things that often are associated with woo-woo type, therapy, can actually be good for you, because then you are effectively processing. Now, what you could say is that maybe meditation is a kind of wakeful sleep. I'm not saying that you are asleep, because of course you're awake, but it is, and this is just me speculating again, but based on the information that I've understood about mindfulness and meditation and the like, and people who meditate on a regular basis, myself included at one point, it's just very difficult for me to remember to, and then think about it, and then do it. But meditation, based on my understanding of things, is kind of like a wakeful form of sleep. It's like a wakeful nap. What you're doing is you're regulating your breath, you're allowing yourself free thought, you come back away from it, you focus yet again on the breath. So you're paying attention, but you're also allowing yourself to not pay attention for a bit. And during those non-pay attention daydream scenarios, that can be, if you will, kind of like surrogate dreaming, not actual dreaming, because actual dreaming means certain body functions are turned off and certain body functions are turned on, and you're not likely to be in REM sleep where your eyes are rapidly moving, and that's generally where you do most of your dreaming. And REM sleep doesn't last that long either. It's usually like, maybe, I think it's like something like 15 minutes or something. There's a whole lot of stuff that happens when you are sleeping, and there's so many different phases. You have in-REM, you have non-rapid eye movement sleeping, you have REM sleep, and then there's transitions between them all, and between wake and sleep and all this other stuff. And like, I to this day don't understand the transition between going to sleep, between wake and sleep and wake. And I'm sure there are people out there who do. And I just haven't looked that deep into it or anything, and I haven't learned much about it. Maybe it's just because there isn't that much info. I don't know. Ooh. This one was the not the one from yesterday, but the one that I saved in case I was going to sneeze or blow my nose again. But I might have to do it again anyway soon because I'm going to sneeze. And one could say, well, okay, maybe a sex dream has something to do with other hormones that are going outside your body, which is potentially true. Yeah. And so, who knows what's really going on? And also because I'm taking, an antidepressant, it has, it suppresses libido, and I'm sure that has something to do with it too. Fuck. Damn it. So who knows? There's a lot of information to be processing throughout all this, but in the meantime, I'm gonna start making some shit. And it's kind of a positive stretch. God damn it. Stupid face, wanted to sneeze again. Anyway, so yeah. And I put the remainder of my olive oil in my olive oil squeeze bottle. It's been the same since I put it that way. I tried putting because this is painter's tape, right? I tried just put it on there once as just like stick it here, kind of halfway. It didn't stick very well, so I wrapped it around, and it has held quite well. I've washed the bottle multiple times, and it's still stuck, so that's good. Before I even started this video, I washed a number of things, including my half-sheet tray, a couple containers, and some other stuff, so. Damn! And it's not like I have allergies or anything. The last time I checked, which, I haven't done any real science to it, but one of the reasons why your nose gets runny when you're crying is because you're literally crying inside of your nose. Your tears are effectively getting, I don't know if they're getting sucked into or if they're simply just, if the tear ducts are, producing enough that it goes into your nose. But part of your runny nose while you're crying is literally tears. So that's a fun fact. See, horny dreams, possibly affected by medication that can screw with your libido. I don't know. But at least I was able to dream, and it was, relatively story driven, I guess. Relatively. If there was. And that's one of the reasons I think also that, some people remember some of the dreams more so than general is because there is a relatable story. There is a plot that's going on. Even if the plot's kind of ridiculous. In this case, the plot was me and this one girl trying to figure out ways to fuck each other. And then it never happened. And it's reminiscent of some stuff that happened in my life that I'm really not going to reveal because there's no point. So yeah. Can't think of anything else, so I'm going to do some stuff, so have fun.